Nerf Rival, Nerf Hyper or XShot Chaos? Which one is actually the best? Let's start with the Rival blasters. Beginning with the Challenger, you get 18 Accu rounds in the box, a 12-round curved magazine, and here is the blaster. It's kind of like an oversized pistol. There's lots of intricate details in this design, and the colours are very bright and bold. It does stand out a lot. So this is a semi-automatic motorized blaster which is powered by 8 AA batteries. 8? At least these are the more common ones. There's more than meets the eye here. Firstly, we have 4 tactical rails. We also have a carabiner clip at the rear of the blaster. With so many options for attachments and ways to carry this, it is kind of like the Rival equivalent of the Nerf Strike. The Accu rounds that this comes with have a more aerodynamic design with a larger dimple pattern, so it should make the flight of these more consistent than a regular round. The general power of the Rival range hovers around the 100 feet per second mark, and of course with this being a motorized flywheel blaster, it makes firing off the rounds very easy. Oh, and they're so much fun! You can quite literally bounce these off walls and around corners. Let's check the accuracy of this. Okay, coming from dart blasters, you can see for yourself the precision and grouping is really good here. One of the more recognisable blasters in this range is the Artemis. It comes with 30 standard rounds, all of which can be loaded into this blaster at the same time. They do kind of look like mini golf balls, don't they? The blaster itself is quite compact. It's actually a really nice size to hold, but it still looks menacing. So to load the rounds in, you pull back on this top section. This gives you access to the 3 built-in magazines. Then every time you prime the blaster, with this rather cool looking front grip, the barrel rotates as the round is loaded. And because this whole top section of the blaster is transparent, you can check how many rounds you have left very easily. Do you know what makes this even better though? This has a slam fire mechanism as well, giving you the ability to unleash a lot of rounds very quickly. It does only have 1 tactical rail for general usage. I don't think it's a big issue though, because it is in a great spot to add some sights to. The big question? What's the accuracy like? I'm not going to lie, this feels extremely satisfying to fire. Even using the standard rounds, the shots were grouped together nicely. Firing quickly with a slam fire, as you can expect, the accuracy was more wild. So before we take a look at what the Hyper range has to offer, let's check out the Pathfinder. You get 12 Accu rounds with this one, a 12-round magazine, and the blaster, which at first glance looks and feels more like a rifle. What's special about this one? Well, a few things. Firstly, it has what Nerf calls an optimized barrel that's been engineered for enhanced performance. We'll see how that turns out. It's also got an adjustable rear sight. You'll see 2 dials here that allow you to change the horizontal and vertical positioning. It's nice to have that flexibility, and when you look through this, you can also see a transparent acrylic sight at the front. At the rear of the blaster, there is a stock to help keep it nice and steady. I actually found this to be really useful. It does make a difference. You'll notice that there's no tactical rails here, but with the sights and the stock, you're probably not going to miss them. The pump action priming method works better than you would expect, and that's thanks to this lip here that really helps the grip and get good leverage on this when pulling it back. Also, this particular blaster does have a very streamlined lightweight profile to it, making it feel like it's no trouble at all to use. With the form factor and the way it fires single shots at a time, it does feel, as I said, like a rifle. So, is it accurate like one? One word comes to mind, and that's wow. I'm struggling to pick fault with this blaster. It has pinpoint accuracy and it feels amazing. It's tough to go wrong with the Nerf Rival range. What's great about the blasters is that they not only perform really well, but you have a lot of options. For example, there's a sub-range of curve shot blasters like the Helix here. I won't go through all of these now, but essentially these allow you to twist the barrel to add some curve to your shots in a specific direction. It does work, but you need to be firing these over quite a big distance to see the effect of this. I'm going to rate the Rival range a very good 9 out of 10. Just bear in mind that the prices of the blasters can fluctuate a lot depending on their availability. So let's see what the deal is with the Nerf Hyper range. We'll start with the Impulse 40. Inside you get 30 Hyper rounds, which are noticeably smaller, some safety glasses, and here is the blaster. To me at least, the Hyper blasters are kind of like the pro equivalent of the Rival range. Just like how Nerf have their standard darts and their smaller pro darts, which are faster, lighter and more accurate, I think that's what they're trying to achieve here. They certainly feel more rubbery and gel-like rather than the standard foam rounds, and they are slightly bouncier. Generally speaking, the Hyper range can fire up to around 110 feet per second, which is only slightly faster, but one of the key benefits of the smaller round size is that you can fit a lot more into a smaller space, like you see here with the Impulse blaster. Now personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the grey, green and blue colour combination. There's an interesting carbon fibre-like pattern here. I'm not sure it suits the blaster, but again, that's a personal preference. Let's look at these features though. It's got 2 tactical rails, but one of the highlights of this particular blaster is the spring open hopper that allows you to load up 40 rounds in practically no time at all while allowing you to keep your hand on the grip and trigger. That's a lot for this small space. It also has a drawback priming handle that I find extremely easy to use. It's just a shame that it has trouble feeding your rounds in for your next shot. It can become quite frustrating. I have to say, using this doesn't immediately feel massively different, but let's see what the accuracy is like. I didn't notice the power difference. The smaller rounds feel more precise and the accuracy itself is similar to the rival blasters. Quick reminder, hit subscribe if you are enjoying this video, it helps out a lot. The Hyper Siege 50 is like the bigger brother. You get 40 hyper rounds in the box this time, some safety glasses, and then the blaster. This one looks and feels like a pump action shotgun. Speaking of which, this has a slam fire mechanism so you can fire lots of shots off quickly. And that's great because the larger size gives the hopper a capacity of 50 rounds. That's so many shots before you even have to think about reloading. Besides the 2 tactical rails, there's not really much more to say about this. I found it to be a nicer size to hold, which should help with the accuracy. But let's see. The overall accuracy and performance is very similar to the Impulse 40, it just feels like a bigger version of it. But slam firing this highlights how often the rounds don't feed into the firing mechanism. It's frustrating at times. Before we rate the hyper range, let's take a look at the Mach 100. You get 80 hyper rounds in the box here, the usual safety glasses, and the rather large blaster. So this is actually fully motorized. It's powered by 6 of these whopping LR20 batteries. It makes this weigh over 2.5 kilograms, so it does get quite tiring after a while. Luckily though, the actual shape of it does make it quite comfortable to hold. If you look closely, we do have a pop-up sight here, which is quite small but at the same time clear to look through. There's also 2 tactical rails for your attachments. So let's talk about performance. The fire rate is about 3 to 4 rounds per second, but I found this to be very inconsistent. Are these shots more accurate though? Let's find out. And the answer to that is no. Just look at how spread out all of the shots are. And not just that, how inconsistent the firing rate is. I don't feel like I have much control over my shots here. The biggest positive is being able to carry a lot more rounds in your blaster, but on the flip side, there's far less options in this range compared to the Nerf rival. And because of that, I'm going to give the Nerf Hyper range a rating of 7 out of 10. So where does the Chaos range sit among these? Well, there's only 2 blasters here, so let's start with the Meteor. Inside you get 12 rounds, there's some stickers if you want to add to the design, and the blaster. That's it, nice and simple. In keeping with the name, it does look very space-like. I love all of the detailing on here and the general colour theme. This has 1 tactical rail on the top and a pullback priming method. It also has a built-in magazine capable of holding 6 rounds at once. Unfortunately though, you can't ignore the build quality. It's very lightweight and cheap sounding, and even after just 5 minutes the priming handle was starting to jam. It's not very reassuring. When you're using this blaster and you're not having any issues, it does work well. Both of the blasters in this range fire around 100 feet per second, so it's matching that of the Nerf rivals. Let's see how the accuracy compares. That's if it works. The accuracy isn't great, thanks to me having to unjam the blaster in between shots. I'm not having a good time. So what's different about the Chaos Orbit? Obviously this is a dual pack, which by the way comes with 100 rounds. If you bought the individual blaster, you would get 24 rounds with it. There's some stickers, and here is the blaster itself. Do you know what? I think this space theme might be my favourite out of all of the blasters. Straight away it feels a lot more ergonomically friendly. It's just a really nice size to hold. Feature-wise, it has 1 tactical rail, it's got a built-in sight which is very clear to look through, and it has a pump action priming method. The good news is, this one isn't jamming, but it still feels quite cheap and rattly. There's no slam fire here, but at the end of the day, it is more of a rifle style blaster. I do like how it retains a built-in easy load magazine. This time it has a much larger 14 round capacity. If it wasn't for that unique feature though, the blasters in this range are fairly straightforward. I do find this blaster really fun to use. It looks good, but let's see if the accuracy is good. Thankfully it is here. The shots were really quite precise. It just doesn't feel like it's going to last very long. Visually, these are some of my favourite blasters here, and the performance is decent, but you are extremely limited with only 2 blasters in this whole range. And the build quality doesn't even come close to Nerf, and that's why I'm giving this range a 6 out of 10. Ultimately, if you are looking at getting more into these round ball style blasters, then your best bet would be to go with the Nerf Rival series. You've got a far superior choice and the performance is really good. Let me know if you found this helpful. Thank you for watching.